Chapter 298. Night fell. The main yard of the Yi family was brightly lit. In the living room of the main yard, Yi Chen took out a book from his storage ring and piled it on the table. "Father, Mother, let's take these as our family's martial arts." Shen Yuqing randomly picked up a book, and as soon as he opened it, he was shocked. Mid-rank Earth Realm Sword Art, Jade-breaking Sword Art, Mid-rank Earth Realm Sword Art. Yi Tianhao didn't realize it. He also picked up a book, opened it and read, Mid-rank Earth Realm Martial Art, Wave Shock Spell. It really is a mid-rank Earth Realm martial art. There is also a fist art. There is also a kick art. After reading over 10 books in a row, Shen Yuqing and Yi Tianhao looked at Yi Chen at the same time. They were shocked. Among the 20 books Yi Chen took out, there were 3 mid-rank Earth Realm martial arts, 5 low-rank Earth Realm martial arts, and 18 top-rank Mortal Realm martial arts, all of which were top-rank. Not to mention the top 8 families of the Windy Nation, even a ranked martial institution would not be able to compete with them. Yi Tianhao said, "Chen, are these all yours?" Yi Chen nodded. "I've been training outside for more than a year, I've had a couple of adventures, and I've killed a lot of powerful warriors. These are all from them, and some are given to the Sky Cloud Martial School." "Father, the martial art you're training is already a mid-rank Earth Realm martial art, so you don't need to change it. You can train this jade-breaking sword art." "Mother, the martial art you're training is only a low-rank Earth Realm martial art, so you can change it to a better one. As for a high-rank Earth Realm martial art, we can't get it for now, but we will find a way in the future." "That's enough. Even if you give us a high-rank Earth Realm martial art, we won't be able to understand it completely." The martial art that Yi Tianhao was practicing was the only mid-rank Earth Realm martial art in the Yi family. It was bought by the third-generation family head with a huge price. It had always been a martial art that only the family head could practice. However, up until now, Yi Tianhao had not practiced it to the highest level. Giving him a high-rank Earth Realm martial art would be a waste. Shen Yuqing said, "Your father is right. Mid-rank Earth Realm martial arts are our limit. There is no need to waste time looking for higher-ranked martial arts." They were not geniuses, nor were they lonely people. They had a lot of time to practice martial arts. Therefore, even if there was a high-grade Earth tier manual in front of them, they would still choose to give it up and keep it as their family's secret. Jade-shattering sword art, not bad. With it, my battling power would increase by at least 30 to 40%, and I would even be able to compete with late-clasping Yuan Realm warriors. Yi Tianhao grinned, holding the jade-shattering sword art manual in his hand. Yi Chen chuckled. This jade-breaking sword art manual was exchanged from Cloud Dreamer, and all the martial arts he got from the 2 astral-reaching realm warriors had been given to the Sky Cloud Martial School. After all, the Yi family did not have the power to fight against astral-reaching realm warriors. Here are some pellets. Some can increase your cultivation slightly, and some can replenish your spirit and chi. You guys can use them yourselves. Yi Chen then took out bottles of pellets from his storage ring. These pellets were not cheap, some of them were even worth tens of thousands of low-rank soul stones. Yi Tianhao and Shen Yuqing were full of smiles. If it were someone else giving them the manuals and pellets, they might reject it. But since it was their son, they were more than happy about it. More importantly, they did not want to be a burden to Yi Chen. Only by becoming more powerful would they be able to reduce Yi Chen's worries. The 2 little ones were very quiet in Yi Chen's arms. When they woke up, they stared at Yi Chen and the other 2 with their big, shiny eyes. They did not make any noise, and they seemed to be much more energetic than when Yi Chen had just arrived. Even Shen Yuqing was quite surprised, and thought that Yi Chen was the reason for the change. Yi Chen thought of the Dragon Fountain Qi, which could not only increase the luck of the martial institutions, but also the luck of his family. The difference was that the people in the martial institutions were not related to him by blood, so he needed to inject part of the Dragon Fountain Qi to stabilize the luck. However, the people in his family were his blood relatives, and that kind of bloodline connection could not be cut off. Now that he had returned, the dragon fountain chi had already affected his family, especially his parents and siblings. In a couple of days, I will go into closed-door training in the Sky Cloud Martial School. This Wind Eagle will stay here, and if you need anything, you can come to me directly. Yi Chen thought for a while and said. Yi Tianhao nodded, all right, you don't need to worry about us, just take care of yourself. Okay. In the next couple of days, Yi Chen didn't do anything else. He stayed with his family, telling them about his experiences, and sharing the happiness of his family. On the 5th day, Yi Chen returned to the Sky Cloud Martial School. The mountain that Cloud Dreamer had chosen for him was the second mountain behind the main mountain, right next to the mountain where Cloud Dreamer was staying. The mountain was extremely steep, and there was no way to climb it. On the mountain, there were fountains and waterfalls, flowers and trees, and it was surrounded by a misty sea of clouds, which made the mountain faintly visible. What a beautiful place! The Sky Cloud Martial School built their school in this place for a reason. Except for the main mountain, the mountain that Yi Chen was staying on was the steepest one, and the mountain that Cloud Dreamer was staying on was the most mysterious. These three mountains could be called the three peaks of the Sky Cloud Martial School. The mountain didn't have a name yet, and would be named by the Great Master himself. Yi Chen didn't think too much, and directly named it the Shocking Cloud Mountain. It was the 3rd day since Yi Chen had moved in. The huge mountain had already been explored by him, and he was completely familiar with it. On the top of the mountain, Yi Chen stood there. It is time to close up. The Green Lotus Sword spell is a top-rank Earth Realm martial art, so it is not hard to imagine how hard it would be to train. In a short period of time, my battling power would not increase, but decrease instead. But, after this period of time, my battling power would increase to an unprecedented level. It is such a shame that I have never used that bit of Jin Yuan from the mysterious great art. Once I change my martial art, this bit of Jin Yuan would be wasted. What a shame! The biggest problem for Yi Chen was the bit of Jin Yuan in the Jin Qi spiral inside his body. This bit of Jin Yuan was not half-step Jin Yuan, but a genuine supreme Jin Yuan, which was extremely pure. Without exaggeration, with this bit of Jin Yuan, Yi Chen would be able to kill a peak-level early astral reaching realm warrior within a second. Even a mid-astral reaching realm warrior would be severely wounded if they were careless. A bit of Jin Yuan would be more powerful than any ace attacks. It would be the ace of all ace attacks, the ace of all ace attacks. It would be able to turn the tables completely. However, it was not a good idea to stay here. The Green Lotus Sword spell was 2 ranks higher than the mysterious great art, and it was a martial art suitable for sword artists to train. Combined with the Green Lotus Sword art, it would allow him to have the power to kill early astral reaching realm warriors under normal conditions. He would not need to perform the minor blood demon body separating great art or that pile of Jin Yuan, since both of them had their own advantages. Plus, time was precious. If he delayed training the Green Lotus Sword spell by 1 day, his progress would be delayed by 1 day, which would affect his future achievements. Never mind, I will train the Green Lotus Sword spell first. Once I have the power to kill astral reaching realm warriors face to face, that bit of Jin Yuan would not be that useful anymore. Biting on his teeth, Yi Chen had finally made up his mind. There were a lot of training rooms under the Shocking Cloud Mountain, and the biggest one was right in the middle of the mountain. There were 2 paths in the room, one was the normal path that led to the inside of the building, and the other was the cave that led to the main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School. On top of the stone platform in the middle of the room, Yi Chen sat with his legs crossed. The Green Lotus Sword spell has 15 levels. For normal warriors, reaching the 9th level would be equivalent to reaching the 11th level of the mysterious great art. But I am a sword artist who has learned the sword intent, so I should be able to recover my original battling power after reaching the 8th level. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen slowly closed his eyes and started to operate his Jin Qi according to the 1st level of the Green Lotus Sword spell. The training method for the first level of any martial art would be very easy. Even the most ordinary of warriors would be able to train it successfully. Yi Chen's comprehensive ability was extremely powerful, plus the fact that the Green Lotus Sword spell was the perfect fit for him. His training speed could not even be described as twice the result with half the effort, because within half an hour, he had already reached the second level. The second level was a couple of times harder than the first, but it was still not too difficult for Yi Chen. After an hour, he had successfully trained the second level again, and was now at the third level. It would not be possible to break through from the third to the fourth level within a short period of time. It had nothing to do with comprehensive ability, it was a necessary process, since operating the Zhen Qi would take a lot of time as well. 3 days passed. Hu! Beams of sword-shaped qi spread out, signifying the completion of the fourth level. It's faster than I thought. It should be the experience from training the mysterious great art. Warriors would change their martial arts not only to become stronger, but also because they had trained other martial arts before. Changing martial arts could more or less save time. Otherwise, warriors would have to spend their entire lives changing martial arts, and it would be impossible for them to improve. After that, Yi Chen spent 1 week to reach the 5th level, half a month to reach the 6th level, and 1 month to reach the 7th level. The mysterious Zhen Qi is about to be completely transformed into the Green Lotus Zhen Qi. I will not be able to keep this Xin Yuan anymore. Sinking his consciousness into his dantian, Yi Chen could see that there were 2 spirals of Zhen Qi in his dantian. The fist-sized one was the Green Lotus Zhen Qi, while the pigeon egg-sized one was the mysterious Zhen Qi. Wrapped by the mysterious Zhen Qi, there was a finger-sized drop of pure Zhen Yuan that was perfectly still, shining brightly without any impurities. Getting rid of his depressed mood, Yi Chen pushed his Green Lotus Zhen Qi to wrap up the mysterious Zhen Qi, wanting to convert it all into Green Lotus Zhen Qi in preparation for breaking through to the 8th level. Hiss! 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 A sound that could not be heard from the outside world appeared inside Yi Chen's dantian. The mysterious Zhen Qi was decreasing bit by bit, while the Green Lotus Zhen Qi was growing bit by bit. That drop of Zhen Yuan was gradually exposed. Yi Chen could imagine that once the Zhen Yuan lost the nourishment of the mysterious Zhen Qi, it would instantly turn into normal mysterious Zhen Qi. Whatever, it's better to deal with it sooner rather than later. The conversion speed did not decrease, but instead increased. Yi Chen pushed his Green Lotus Zhen Qi to its limit. Finally, the mysterious Zhen Qi had been completely converted into Green Lotus Zhen Qi. Only a finger-sized drop of Zhen Yuan was left, quietly floating in the air of his dantian. It was vibrating slowly but surely, a sign that it was about to break down. Right then, a Zhen Qi thread shot out from the center of the Green Lotus Zhen Qi, wrapping around the drop of Zhen Yuan and pulling it in. In the next second, countless Zhen Qi threads connected with the Zhen Yuan, just like the meridians and blood vessels around the heart. They were all interconnected, and could not be cut or separated. Seeing this, Yi Chen looked surprised. He did not expect that the Zhen Yuan would not only not disappear, but instead enter the Green Lotus Zhen Qi. Chapter 299. Although he had already prepared to give up on that stream of Zhen Yuan, it would be a lie to say that he did not feel pain in his heart. After all, he had not used that stream of Zhen Yuan even once since he started to cultivate it. He did not even know how powerful it was, which made Yi Chen feel pain in his heart. But now, there was no need to worry. The Zhen Yuan had already merged with the Green Lotus Zhen Qi. As time passed, the mysterious Zhen Yuan would also be converted into Green Lotus Zhen Yuan, and would no longer have any connection with the mysterious Zhen Qi. So, there would not be any problem of not being able to use it. Perhaps, the problem lies with the Great Mystery Art. Otherwise, the moment the Great Mystery Zhen Qi disappeared, the Great Mystery Zhen Yuan should have disintegrated immediately, instead of staying there and giving the Green Lotus Zhen Qi a chance to react. Yi Chen could vaguely feel that the martial arts from the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace were not simple at all. A mid-rank Earth Realm martial art could actually produce a stream of Jin Yuan, which was unbelievable. Never mind. Trying to understand something that I cannot understand is not a good thing. Yi Chen shook his head, and did not want to spend any more time on this topic. Sinking his consciousness into his dantian again, Yi Chen saw that the mysterious Jin Yuan was slowly moving in the green lotus Jin Qi, gradually transforming into the green lotus Jin Yuan. During the transformation, the mysterious Jin Yuan was inevitably a bit mixed. Not only did it contain a huge amount of mysterious Jin Yuan, but also a small amount of green lotus Jin Yuan. Moving his attention away from the Jin Yuan, Yi Chen focused on the 3 green lotus sword Qi outside the Jin Qi spiral. These 3 green lotus sword Qi were only as long as a pinky finger. They were pure blue, without any impurities, and looked a bit illusory. They looked like streams of sharp airflow, spinning around the Jin Qi spiral in a regular pattern. They were in perfect order, and did not clash with each other at all. I have reached the 7th level of the Green Lotus Sword spell in less than 2 months. This speed is indeed a bit fast. It seems that the higher my cultivation, the faster my martial arts will be. Yi Chen did not think that his training speed was 10 times faster than the other top martial geniuses. It should be known that not only normal warriors needed to change their martial arts, even the disciples of the super martial institutions needed to change their martial arts. Because when one's cultivation was still low, even if one was given a powerful martial art, one would not be able to train it normally. Therefore, in the early stages of training, most people would be training the mortal realm martial arts instead of the earth realm martial arts. Martial arts had always been about progress step by step. Those top martial geniuses had just reached the clasping Yuan realm and had already started to train high-rank or top-rank earth realm martial arts, which was a challenge for them. If they were the same as Yi Chen and only started to train top-rank earth realm martial arts at their current cultivation, their speed would definitely be much faster. It was just like how Yi Chen was still unable to learn the Sky Realm martial arts right now. He had spent more than a year to learn it, but Sea of Souls realm warriors were able to learn it within a couple of months. Did it mean that Sea of Souls realm warriors' comprehensive ability was 10 times or even dozens of times better than Yi Chen's? This was impossible. The cultivation speed would be determined by the level one reached. The meaning of being a martial genius was that under the same conditions, their cultivation speed would be extremely fast. You could not compare an early clasping Yuan realm martial genius with a late clasping Yuan realm martial genius like Yi Chen, which would be unfair in itself. Of course, Yi Chen was confident that under the same conditions, the cultivation speed of a peerless genius would not be able to match up to his, although it was not as exaggerated. Kill. Sitting cross-legged on the stone platform, Yi Chen suddenly pointed his finger. Qi. A beam of cyan sword Qi darted out, leaving a Zhonglong sword mark on the ground. It was not that powerful, only about the same as the sword Qi released by a normal late clasping Yuan realm sword artist. It was not as powerful as the sword Qi released by Yi Chen's sword. As the sword Qi darted out, one of the green lotus sword Qi in Yi Chen's dantian suddenly disappeared, and he would not be able to generate more in a short period of time. Only 2 green lotus sword Qi were left spinning around his Jin Qi. The green lotus sword Qi inside my body has only been formed not long ago. It seems like I will need a long time to train it before I can bring out its full power. Letting out a long breath, Yi Chen's finger swept across his storage ring. A huge pile of low-rank soul stones appeared on the ground. There were at least thousands of them. In the early stages of changing martial arts, there was no need for soul stones to provide Yuan Qi, because the original Jin Qi could be directly converted into the current Jin Qi, which would save the training process. But, as the mysterious Jin Qi was used up, it would be time to use soul stones to increase the training speed. 2 low-rank soul stones landed in Yi Chen's hand. He closed his eyes and operated the Jin Qi inside his body according to the 7th level of the Green Lotus Sword spell. Soon, Yi Chen opened his eyes. No, the low-rank soul stone's yuan qi is not pure enough. It cannot keep up with the green lotus Shin Qi's training speed. Do I have to use mid-rank soul stones? Normally, only the powerful warriors who had reached the astral reaching realm would use mid-rank soul stones to train, because the Zhen Yuan was way too pure. It would take too much time to train the low-rank soul stone's yuan qi. Right now, Yi Chen was also facing this problem. The green lotus Shin Qi trained by the green lotus sword spell was extremely pure, at least twice as pure as the mysterious Shin Qi. Therefore, using low-rank soul stones would be much more efficient. Putting away the low-rank soul stones on the ground, Yi Chen took out hundreds of mid-rank soul stones. After training for a while, Yi Chen nodded to himself. This time, he was right. Although it might be a bit of a waste to train the mid-rank soul stone's yuan qi into green lotus Shin Qi, compared to his power, it was nothing. With 60 to 70,000 mid-rank soul stones, Yi Chen could definitely afford it. Reaching the 8th level of the green lotus sword spell from the 7th level was a very difficult process. It took Yi Chen a whole 2 months before he finally succeeded. Hoo! A sharp qi flow spread out in the air. The walls of the secret room had all been eroded to a crisp, powder falling down. After resting for half a day and eating something, Yi Chen continued to train his green lotus sword spell. It had been 7 months since Yi Chen started his closed-door training. During this period of time, the Sky Cloud Martial School had undergone a huge change. Not only did the number of outer disciples increase from 3,000 to 5,000, but the number of inner disciples had also increased from 500 to 700. The biggest change was the number of outer masters. Countless clasping Yuan realm warriors in the Windy Nation wanted to join the Sky Cloud Martial School. Because of this, the leaders of the Sky Cloud Martial School had increased the difficulty of the selection. Besides having enough power, they also had to have a good character. Those with bad reputations were rejected, and those with ordinary reputations would not have any advantage. Only some of the clasping Yuan realm warriors with good reputations would have a higher chance of joining the Sky Cloud Martial School. Many people expressed their dissatisfaction with what the leaders of the Sky Cloud Martial School had done. Unfortunately, what could they do? It was you who wanted to join the Sky Cloud Martial School, not the other way around. On this day, the Sky Cloud Martial School was the same as usual, and the number of people who wanted to join had decreased a lot. Hundreds of miles away, above the clouds, a beam of lightning flashed across. Within the lightning, one could vaguely see a beast and 2 people. The beast was a demonic beast, and it had 5 wings. 2 pairs of wings were symmetrical, and the one in the middle was a lot smaller. It was covered with lightning, and it was exactly this lightning that made its speed reach such a horrifying level. It was a couple of times faster than the windy vulture. On the back of the demonic beast, 2 human figures were standing. The elder on the left had a beard and was wearing a long gray robe. He was standing with his hands behind his back, looking like a powerful warrior. Next to the elder was a young man with a pair of godlike eyes. It was Xikong Sheng, who had lost to Yi Chen in the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank. On the day when the Hidden Dragon rank had ended, Xikong Sheng rode on the only rank 7 demonic beast in the Floating Mountain Martial School, the Bright Thunder Beast. He had rushed back to the Floating Mountain Martial School in 1 week and started his closed-door training. This was also the reason why he dared to challenge Yi Chen in half a year. After all, the South Rudra region was way too big, and without a fast demonic beast, it would take at least 1 to 2 months to get back. 9 months of closed-door training. Do you have the confidence to beat Yi Chen? The elder in the gray robe asked. Xikong Sheng said, in the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank, my first movement of the mysterious Sky Tyrant Fist art was not completed yet. My martial art had also stopped at the peak level of the 11th realm, and had not reached the 12th realm yet. This time, I have successfully trained my martial art to the 12th realm, and I have also mastered the first movement of the mysterious Sky Tyrant Fist art. I have also learned the first movement of the second movement. It should be enough for me to beat him. That would be for the best. The demonic beast of the Sky Cloud Martial School is the Wind Eagle. It would take at least 2 months to get back from the Hidden Dragon Ancient City. In other words, he would only have 7 months of closed-door training, which is 2 months less than you. He has reached the late clasping Yuan realm, and 7 months would not be able to increase his battling power that much. Ha! What belongs to me, I will take it back myself. The glory in the early stage is nothing. Sikong Sheng looked even colder. The bright thunder beast flew out of the clouds, and the two could already see the main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School not far away. Get down! The elder yelled. Pap! The lightning flashed once in the air. When it reappeared, it was already above the Sky Cloud Martial School. Such a fast demonic beast. There are people up there. There are really people. They are not friendly. Hurry up and inform the leader and all the masters. The bright thunder beast had made too much noise. Everyone on the main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School had been stirred up. They all rushed to the plaza on top of the main mountain. Luo Xinglia walked out of the palace. Seeing Sikong Sheng on the bright thunder beast, he squinted his eyes and said politely, I am the leader of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Luo Xinglia. I wonder what brings you two here. The elder looked down at Luo Xinglia, let Yi Chen out. Yi Chen. He is in closed-door training. We should not disturb him. Luo Xinglia frowned. He had more or less figured out why Sikong Sheng was here. It seemed like he had made some progress in the past 9 months. This time, he must be here to beat Yi Chen and take back the dragon fountain chi that belonged to him. Shoo! Sikong Sheng jumped down from the bright thunder beast and looked around. He noticed that the inner disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School were all different. He sneered, this battle is inevitable. I have made a deal with him. Let him fight me first, and then go into closed-door training. The headmaster of the Sky Cloud Martial School said, I am afraid that is not a good idea. To be honest, the headmaster had started to worry about Yi Chen. Sikong Sheng had come with a lot of power. If he did not have the confidence, he would not have come to the Sky Cloud Martial School. Since he had come, he must have the confidence to beat Yi Chen. What is not good about it? The elder was a core master in the Floating Mountain Martial School. His cultivation had reached the late astral reaching realm a long time ago. He did not care about Luo Xinglia and the headmaster at all. Hearing him, Luo Xinglia's face looked terrible. The situation was not in his favor. Even if he did not want to, there was nothing he could do. He sighed inwardly. This dragon fountain chi was indeed a hot potato. It would not be easy to keep it. But, he was one of the people who knew about Yi Chen's closed-door training. It had only been 7 months, and he would not be able to beat Sikong Sheng no matter what. Sikong Sheng, you seem to be late. Right then, a clear voice was heard from the shocking cloud mountain behind the main mountain. It was extremely sharp, like sword chi, spreading out quickly. Chapter 300. Brother Yi has finished his training. A lot of the inner disciples and core disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School felt pressured by Sikong Sheng's aura, which made them feel a bit shorter. It was like there was a giant standing in front of them, a god of war looking down on them from the clouds. That kind of king's aura had made them feel breathless. Only then did they realize who their brother Yi Chen had defeated. Their admiration for Yi Chen had reached its peak, almost to the point of worship. The cloud mist between the main mountain and the shocking cloud mountain was torn apart. Yi Chen, who was wearing blue robes and had a long sword on his waist, flew over. Wherever he passed, the air was like water, with ripples spreading out everywhere. All of a sudden, Yi Chen landed on the main mountain. Yi Chen, are you okay? Luo Xinglia hurried to ask. Yi Chen shook his head as he shifted his gaze to Sikong Sheng and said, if you had come a month earlier, I think it would not have been that easy to win against you. But, you did not take this opportunity. Half a month ago, Yi Chen had already trained his Green Lotus sword spell from the 8th level to the 9th level. In the remaining time, he had reached the peak level of the 9th level. The 3 Green Lotus Shen Qi inside his body had gone through 2 fundamental changes. After 5 months of training, the power of his Green Lotus sword Qi had increased drastically. It could be counted as one of his killing attacks, and he would not be afraid of anyone in close combat. Xikong Sheng could feel that Yi Chen's sword aura was a bit more powerful than when he was in the Hidden Dragon Valley. However, thinking about his own improvement, he sneered, "Losing to you in the Hidden Dragon rank competition was the biggest shame of my life. Now, I will take it back with my own hands." Yi Chen glanced at the elder on the Thunder Beast. "Unfortunately, I do not plan to give away the first place of the Hidden Dragon rank and the Dragon Fountain Qi. Then, let's wait and see." The two stopped talking as their cold eyes clashed in the air. The vibrations generated were extremely horrifying. Even Luo Hanshan and Zhu Mei did not dare to be within 30 meters of them. On the Cloud Mountain, Thunder Freer said seriously, "This Xikong Sheng is not simple at all. It has only been 9 months and he has already improved so much. It seems like he is not far from the second Jin Yuan purification." Cloud Dreamer nodded, "This is the first time I have seen this man. He is indeed a top genius with a king bloodline. The pressure of his aura alone can make people feel like they are no match for him. I am afraid only Yi Chen's sword aura can resist him. It's just that Yi Chen has just changed his cultivation method. Being able to recover his original battle strength is already his limit. His situation is not optimistic." Thunder Freer did not take Yi Chen's minor blood demon body separating great art into consideration. Although this secret martial art was powerful and could increase one's fighting power, it should not be exposed to the public. Back in the day, the blood demon had slaughtered a lot of powerful warriors from the Floating Mountain Martial School. It was hard to guarantee that the elder on the Huang Thunder Beast would not make a big fuss about it and cause some trouble. Just wait and see. I don't think Yi Chen doesn't know about this. Cloud Dreamer was much calmer than Thunder Freer. He knew that Yi Chen's achievements were definitely not due to luck. This place is not a good place to fight. Let's go somewhere else. Once they had reached this level of battling power, their destructive power would be extremely powerful. They would not be any weaker than astral reaching realm warriors. After a big battle, the buildings on the main mountain would be turned into ruins, which was not what Yi Chen wanted to see. Flashing his body, Yi Chen flew toward the mountains behind the main mountain. Xikong Sheng's battling intent surged as he followed closely behind. "Hurry up. Brother Yi is about to battle with Xikong Sheng. This battle will be the top battle between the young generation of the South Rudra region. If we miss this, we will never be able to see it again." A lot of the core disciples and inner disciples chased after Yi Chen. Luo Xinglia did not stop them. No matter if Yi Chen won or lost, being able to watch this battle would be a good thing for the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School. It would help them to have the competitive spirit. It was a short mountain in the middle of the mountains. It was less than 800 meters tall, covering 7 to 8 miles of land. There were rocks all over the mountain, and hardly any plants could be seen. On top of the short mountain, Yi Chen and Xikong Sheng stood facing each other, 100 meters apart. Around the short mountain, there were human figures everywhere. Some of them were standing on the 100-meter-tall ancient trees, while some of them were standing on the hills. There were also some people with good eyesight who had climbed up to the mountains that were a bit further away, looking down from above. Right then, almost half of the people from the Sky Cloud Martial School had gathered in the mountains behind them. "Who?" A dim light flashed through his storage ring, and 2 dark blue gloves appeared in Xikong Sheng's hands, shining with a cold light. Putting on the gloves, the half-step Jin Yuan inside Xikong Sheng's body exploded completely. The powerful pressure spread out in all directions, and the sparse trees on the short mountain were all uprooted and blown away. It was a horrifying scene. On the other side, Yi Chen placed his right hand on the sword hilt. His body was like a sword, and his aura was like a sword. The pressure brought by Xikongsheng's half-step Jin Yuan had not even gotten close to Yi Chen before it was cut open by that powerful sword aura, creating a peaceful area. Let's fight. The light in his eyes had reached its limit. Xikongsheng took a step forward and appeared in front of Yi Chen within a second, throwing out a fist attack. Space Flash Step. Sky Tyrant Fist Attack. Right from the start, Xikongsheng had pushed his battling power to a new peak. It would be fine if he did not move, but once he moved, it would be like a tsunami that could shatter the sky. Green Lotus Light. Chin. Taking out his Star Scar sword, Yi Chen yelled with a low voice, blocking out Xikongsheng's fist attack. Crack. A huge crack appeared in between the two, spreading out at an extreme speed. Within a second, it had turned into a couple of miles long and 10 meters wide pitch-black gully. The mountain has cracked. Most of the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School had never seen such a horrifying battle before. The moment they clashed, the 800 meters tall mountain had been cracked open, and the ground had been shaken. Alright, take another punch from me. Xikongsheng's eyes looked horrifying. His body shook once, and his half-step Jin Yuan spread out, covering half of the mountain. Something shocking happened. The half of the mountain that had been cracked started to attack towards Yi Chen. Combined with Xikongsheng's powerful aura, he looked like a real battle god. Green Lotus Mountain Opening. Yi Chen did not back out. The Star Scar sword in his hand was waved up, and a waterfall-like sword chi shot out, cutting the half of the mountain that Xikongsheng was on in half. Rocks flew everywhere. Xikongsheng flew up into the sky, throwing out a punch. It was the ace attack of the Sky Tyrant Fist art, Sky Breaking Fist. Rumble. The other half of the mountain was completely shattered, and boulders of different sizes were thrown out in all directions, like a goddess scattering flowers. Watch out! Even the smallest of these rocks weighed tens of thousands of pounds, while the bigger ones were as big as a small hill. Most of the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School did not dare to fight against them alone. Dozens of people gathered together, attacking the rocks together. They looked shocked and excited at the same time. Stepping on a huge rock that had been thrown into the sky, Yi Chen thought to himself, he has indeed improved a lot. Before, this ace attack was not completed yet, and was easily broken by my Kill Heart sword attack. But now, it has been completed, and the only way left is to develop the mentality. After the completion of the Earth Realm martial arts, the warriors would have to study the mentality if they wanted to become more powerful. Astral Reaching Realm warriors would not only be powerful in terms of cultivation, but their martial mentality would also be more powerful than Clasping Yuan Realm warriors. Take out your ace attack. Otherwise, the battle will be over soon. Xikongsheng also stepped on a huge rock in the sky, increasing the distance between him and Yi Chen. As you wish. Immortal Sky Shattering Clouds. Performing his separating shadow flying art, Yi Chen left the huge rock within a second, jumping into the area where Xikongsheng was. He was in the sky, throwing down a sword attack accompanied by a thunder light. Boom! 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 There were still a lot of huge rocks that had not hit the ground yet, still being thrown into the air. However, under Yi Chen's sword attack, they all exploded into pieces. Countless muddy yellow fireworks bloomed in the sky, looking extremely spectacular. Break for me. Xikongsheng performed his sky-shattering fist art again. That aggressive fist power shattered the incoming sword chi time after time. His body flashed once, as if he had completely ignored the distance. He suddenly appeared in front of Yi Chen, throwing out a punch that went through the air. Watch out! Some of the disciples from the Sky Cloud Martial School screamed. Sikong Shing's step art was extremely horrifying. It was like he was moving in a second, making it impossible for people to react. Yi Chen smiled lightly as he put up his left hand's index and middle fingers, pointing out in the air. Shoo! The bright blue sword chi shot out of his fingers, cutting through the surreal space. Sword chi coming out of his body. The fist power had been cancelled out, and Sikong Shing hurried to back out a couple of steps. In the next second, another beam of sword chi shot over. Although he had dodged fast, it still scratched his thigh, causing blood to pour out. In the sky, the elder who was standing on the back of the thunder beast frowned. He had expected to see a one-sided battle, but this Yi Chen was way more powerful than he had imagined. He had managed to tie with Sikong Shing in the previous battle, and now, he had revealed another sword chi attack that had shot out from his fingers, forcibly gaining the upper hand. Losing 2 beams of green lotus sword chi, and still not gaining the upper hand. It seems like the gap between the realms of the martial arts is not that easy to make up for. Yi Chen could tell that Sikong Shing's martial art had improved again. He estimated it to be around the 12th level, while his green lotus sword spell was only at the peak of the 9th level. Since it was a martial art suitable for sword artists, its power was equivalent to the 10th level. Combined with the 70% sword intent, it could barely break through Sikong Shing's half-step protective Jin Yuan layer. However, it still wasted a little bit of time. Otherwise, with such a close distance, the green lotus sword chi would not have missed. If the green lotus sword spell had reached the 10th level, the 3 beams of green lotus sword chi would become 6, and then it would be much easier to win. The green lotus sword spell was divided into 15 levels. The 7th level could produce 3 beams of green lotus sword chi, the 10th level would produce 6 beams, and the 13th level would produce 9 beams. Once it reached the 14th level, the green lotus sword chi would transform into the lotus heart sword chi. Right now, Yi Chen was at the peak of the 9th level, and he had only produced 3 beams of green lotus sword chi. Glancing at the wound on his thigh, Sikong Shing's eyes looked extremely serious. Yi Chen's improvement was out of his expectation. He could not believe that Yi Chen could still grow even stronger. Although he still had an unfinished ace attack that he had not performed yet, Yi Chen also had an ace attack. He would never forget the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank, when Yi Chen had broken through his fist power with one sword attack and defeated him. Do not hold back anymore. Use the secret skill that can increase your battling power. The elder on the thunder beast suddenly said. Sikong Shing nodded. Yi Chen, if this is all you have, then you will lose for sure. This time, I did not come here just to improve my power. Chapter 301. Yuan Magnetic Battle Body. The half-step protective Jin Yuan around Sikong Shing shrunk suddenly, sticking to the surface of his skin. It was similar to Tuobaku's defensive martial art, but the only difference was that the half-step Jin Yuan on the surface of Sikong Shing's body seemed to be covered with a layer of magnetic light, with tiny electric sparks flashing. The powerful attraction and repulsion power intertwined together, forming a very chaotic power field. This is a magnetic field. Yi Chen's pupils shrank. On Sikong Shing's body, he sensed a completely different power field compared to Murong Qingqing's. TSS. 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 The half-step Jin Yuan started to vibrate at an extremely high speed. Sikong Shing could feel that his power had increased by more than 30%. It was like he could blow up a 1,000 meters tall mountain with one punch, and kill a warrior at the same level with one finger attack. Secret skills that could increase the battling power were extremely rare in this true spirit continent. Even the rank 6 martial institutions did not have such powerful secret skills. The Floating Mountain School did not have them before, but they did have the Yuan Magnetic Godly Iron, which contained an extremely powerful magnetic power. Inside the floating mountain, there was a small piece of Yuan Magnetic Godly Iron essence, which contained extremely condensed magnetic power. According to the special effect of the Yuan magnetic godly iron, the powerful warriors of the Floating Mountain School had spent a lot of effort to create a secret skill that could increase the battling power. Training this secret skill would not increase the battling power by itself. One would need to go inside the floating mountain and absorb a part of the magnetic power from the Yuan magnetic godly iron essence, then bind it inside the body and use it together with this secret skill. Because it was incomplete, the secret skill had a time limit. Once the magnetic power binding inside the body was used up, the battling power increasing effect would disappear as well. This time, before going to the Sky Cloud Martial School to challenge Yichen, Xikongsheng had made a lot of preparations. Training the Yuan magnetic battle body and absorbing the magnetic power was one of his preparations, which was also the source of his confidence to win against Yichen. Fist Tyrant River. Without performing his Sky Tyrant Fist art, Xikongsheng had only performed one ace attack. The aggressive power was like the air exploding, shaking the sky. An unparalleled pressure shot out, leaving a dozens of meters long and 3 to 4 meters wide vacuum mark in the air. Boom! The place where Yichen was exploded violently. The powerful vibration had triggered the electric current, making a sizzling sound. What a fierce fist force! Yichen's body turned into black smoke and disappeared with the wind. When he reappeared, he was already hundreds of meters away. Looking at Xikongsheng's fist power, his expression turned serious. You can't escape. The Yuan magnetic battle body had boosted Xikongsheng's speed to its limit. His feet slightly stepped out, and his whole body appeared right in front of Yichen within a second. His huge fists, which were covered by the dark blue gloves, shone with a chilling cold light and electric current as he threw out a punch. The air exploded again. The edges of Yichen's black smoke twisted slightly. Puff! A corner of the blue robe shattered into pieces. Kill! Naturally, Yichen would not be at a disadvantage. While he was moving, he turned around and slashed with his sword. The sword chi that was hundreds of feet long was like a giant axe that could split the sky. Xikongsheng did not bother to dodge as he threw out a punch at the sword chi. With a cracking sound, the sword chi exploded. The extremely high frequency of vibration quickly exhausted the immortal will contained in the sword chi, and it could no longer hold on for even a moment. Brother Yi has fallen into a disadvantage. The situation is not looking good. What can he do? Xikongsheng has a secret art to increase his battling power, but Brother Yi does not. A rank 6 martial institution is indeed powerful. They even have a secret art to increase their battling power. Even if Brother Yi loses, it will not be because of his power. Hearing his disciples' discussion, Luo Xinglie's eyebrows frowned deeply. Yichen being able to get the upper hand in the beginning was already out of his expectation. He did not expect the situation to change so drastically. Xikongsheng had used a secret art to increase his battling power. In this case, if Yichen wanted to win, he would have to use the secret art that he had used when fighting against the astral-reaching realm warriors. Thinking up to here, Luo Xinglie glanced at the core master of the Floating Mountain Martial School who was standing on top of the Thunder Beast, feeling a bit worried. Whatever you have, use it all. I will shatter it one by one and let you admit your defeat. After shattering another incoming sword chi, Xikongsheng floated in the air. His cold eyes locked onto Yichen, looking for the best opportunity to attack. His body flashed without any pattern. Yichen thought to himself, one kill heart sword attack. No, he must have a more powerful ace attack waiting for me. If I use it now, it will only hurt my spirit and will waste my battling power. The minor blood demon body separating great art would not work either. It was not the time to expose it yet. Once he used it, it would be troublesome if something happened. The elder on top of the Thunder Beast had scared him a lot. Then let's use the mysterious Zhen Yuan. Taking a deep breath, Yichen sunk his spirit into his dantian and quickly touched a drop of mysterious Zhen Yuan inside the Zhen Qi spiral, trying to pull it out. Not good. I can't pull out the mysterious Shen Yuan. Although he looked calm, Yi Chen was shocked inside. He thought that even if he had trained the Green Lotus Shen Qi, he would still be able to use the mysterious Shen Yuan. But, he did not expect it to go wrong. The mysterious Shen Yuan did not listen to his command at all. It only shook a couple of times before it disappeared completely. Kill. Although there was no expression on Yi Chen's face, Xikong Sheng could tell that something was wrong from his movements. He took the chance immediately and threw out his fist, conquering the mountains. The surreal space tightened, and Yi Chen was trapped within it. The fist power that came after landed right in the middle of that area, fast and violent like thunder. Dong! The air vibrated like water, and the trees nearby started to fall down one after another. The blade-like chi flow tore the ground apart, bringing up waves of dirt. On a small mountain far away, Yi Chen looked down at his torn sleeves with a serious look on his face. It seemed like he would have to use his minor blood demon body separating great art this time. Yi Chen, why don't you use that sword attack? I will give you one more chance. If you don't use it now, I will beat you instantly. There was still more than half of the magnetic power inside his body, so Xikong Sheng was not worried about the possibility of his Yuan magnetic battle body running out. In the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank, he had lost to Yi Chen's ace attack. Therefore, this time, he wanted to beat Yi Chen, who had performed his ace attack. Raising his head to look at Xikong Sheng, Yi Chen had a cold look on his face, a secret art that can increase battling power. I have it as well. Since you want me to use all of my power, then you should be prepared for the worst. Crack. The small mountain cracked open. Blood-red chi flow shot up into the sky, dyeing Yi Chen's clothes, hair, eyebrows, and pupils all red. His whole body looked like a bloody battle god, standing on top of the collapsing small mountain. His chi and blood are burning. This is. On the back of the Thunder Beast, the core master of the Floating Mountain Martial School's expression changed. Luo Xinglie shook his head. He had used it after all. Oh well, it's better than being beaten by Xikong Sheng. On the cloud-drifting peak, Thunder Freer forced a smile, hoping that the core master of the Floating Mountain Martial School would not ask about the origin of the minor blood demon body separating great art. Otherwise, even with the power of the Sky Cloud Martial School, they would not be able to compete with him. A late astral reaching realm warrior from a rank 6 martial school was not something a normal late astral reaching realm warrior could compete with. Without exaggerating, even 10 of him would be seeking death. Cloud Dreamer said hesitantly, I think there should be no big problem. The true spirit continent is extremely complicated. It is hard to avoid some secret martial arts. Even if this martial art is from Master Blood Demon, it should not link Yi Chen and Master Blood Demon together. I hope so. Thunder Freer had a bad feeling about this. His chi and blood were burning, and his Green Lotus Shen Qi was boiling. Yi Chen's battling power had increased drastically, and soon reached more than 50%. That kind of extremely violent power had ignited his battling intent. 2 beams of blood-red light shot out of his pupils, sharp like swords. Cut. His feet stomped on the ground, and the speed of the hill collapsing increased by 10 times. The powerful vibrating power had blown Yi Chen away, dragging a sharp red chi flow behind him. His body was like a sword, and his battling intent was like a sword. Yi Chen lifted up his Star Scar sword in the air and threw out a sword attack towards Xikong Sheng. Blood-red lightning flew everywhere. A twisting blood-red sword light tore open the air, creating a pitch-black vacuum tunnel. Sky-breaking fist. Xikong Sheng roared, pushing his Yuan magnetic battle body to its limit. Electric currents covered his whole body as he threw out a killing attack. Crack. Out of nowhere, dark clouds gathered above the mountains. A beam of lightning struck down, hitting right where the two had clashed. The balance had been broken, and Yi Chen had been blown out dozens of meters. His feet had left piles of blood-red patterns in the air. Compared to Yi Chen, Xikongsheng had backed out for almost 100 meters. The advantages and disadvantages of the Yuan magnetic battle body and the minor blood demon body separating great art were obvious. What kind of secret skill is this? A shocked expression flashed through Xikongsheng's face. He had experienced the power of the Yuan magnetic battle body, but his opponent's secret skill seemed to be even more powerful than the Yuan magnetic battle body. It was almost as brutal as burning his Jin Yuan. Taking a quick breath, Xikongsheng forcefully pushed his half-step Jin Yuan, combining it with the magnetic power created by the essence of Yuan magnetic godly iron. He pushed his Yuan magnetic battle body even more violently. Electric currents appeared on his pitch-black hair, making a sizzling sound. Didn't you want to see my ace attack? Then, I will show you. Stopping his backing out, the blood-red chi flow on Yi Chen's body suddenly expanded, looking like a burning blood-colored flame. He raised his star-scar sword with both of his hands, pouring his mind into it along with his sword intent. He threw out a sword attack. The sword chi was like a pillar, piercing through the surreal space and arriving in front of Xikongsheng within a second. Break! Sky breaking, earth cracking. An electric current flashed through the surface of his pupils. Xikongsheng stood in the surreal space steadily. The air behind him continued to shatter, creating cracks in the vacuum space. A heaven-shattering poetic perspective spread out along with the powerful fist aura of the mysterious sky tyrant fist, shattering everything. Ka la la. After throwing out a fist attack, the mountain behind him could not handle the huge counterforce of his ace attack. It shook a little before shattering all of a sudden, causing dust to rise into the sky. It was almost within a second that the fist power and the sword chi clashed together, freezing right there. The sky was covered in dark clouds, thunder and lightning were everywhere. Countless lightning bolts struck down crazily, breaking the rocks and lighting up the trees. All of the Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples who were watching the battle were shocked. They had never seen such a powerful clasping Yuan realm warrior before, and they might not be able to see one again in their lives. Chapter 302. Shoo! A weird cloth-tearing sound was heard. The Kill Heart Sword Chi, which contained the immortal mentality in sword intent, brutally pierced through Xikongsheng's fist power, leaving behind a sharp and long pitch-black sword mark in the air. It then landed on Xikongsheng's chest with an unstoppable force, blowing him away. However, although the sword chi had pierced through the fist power, the aftermath of the exploding fist power still tore apart the air, creating layers of vacuum cracks. Countless vacuum cracks combined together, looking like a vacuum balsam flower blooming towards Yi Chen. Shoo! 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 The range of the vacuum cracks was way too big. Even with his separating shadow art, Yi Chen could not avoid all of them. Without panicking, Yi Chen put up his left index and middle fingers, and the last green lotus sword chi shot out of his body, destroying one of the incoming vacuum cracks. As the vacuum cracks disappeared, Yi Chen looked in front of him. There was a collapsed hill, and a human-shaped crack could be vaguely seen. Boom! The hill exploded, and Xikongsheng rushed out with blood dripping out of the corner of his mouth. Stepping on the ground, Xikongsheng quickly calmed down his boiling chi and blood in his half-step Jin Yuan. This time, he was able to block out the Kill Heart Sword chi. Besides the fact that his fist power had cancelled out most of the power, it was also thanks to the chaotic force field created by his Yuan magnetic battle body, which had reduced the stability and destructive power of the Kill Heart Sword chi. Of course, the half-step Jin Yuan on the surface of his body was also one of his defensive methods, which was 30 to 40% more powerful than the normal half-step protective Jin Yuan. Your ace attack can't do anything to me anymore. Plus, it seems like this sword attack can't be used too much. Let me see what other ace attacks you have this time. Winning or losing was very important to Xikongsheng, and the luck that had been taken away was also very important. Xikong Sheng had never thought of giving up until the last second. The ground was cracked as Xikong Sheng shot up into the sky. His tightly clenched fist was covered in electricity as he threw out a punch, shaking up the entire sky. Then I will show you a new killer move, Green Lotus Sky. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen's eyes were as calm as an ancient well. The Green Lotus Shen Qi inside his body had been pushed to its limit, pouring into his palm and into the Star Scar sword in a mysterious way. An extremely sharp blue Qi flow appeared on the Star Scar sword, which then condensed into countless illusory blue lotuses. Whoosh! The sword attack seemed slow, but it was actually fast. The air strangely calmed down, as if the raging river had turned into a lake with no waves at all. On the surface of the lake, different-sized green lotuses started to grow at a speed faster than human eyes could see, which was exactly the same as the scene in the Hidden Dragon's secret realm. Xikong Sheng's powerful fist power entered the lake and seemed to have encountered a huge obstacle. Its speed became slower and slower, and its sharpness became fainter and fainter. Those green lotuses that were close to his fist power were like sharp swords that had been taken out of their sheaths, flying out one after another, turning into blue-colored sword qi and shooting out. What happened next was even more horrifying. The lake had been stimulated by the fist power and started to expand at an extreme speed, dragging Xikong Sheng into it. Countless green lotuses turned into sword qi and hacked on his body crazily, burning out the magnetic power and half-step Qin Yuan inside his body. What kind of sword movement is this? Xikong Sheng was deep in the lake-like area, trying his best to defend against the endless sword qi that was shooting towards him. The magnetic power inside his body was decreasing at a much faster rate than before. If it continued like this, the Yuan magnetic battle body's effect would disappear completely. Green Lotus accumulation, cut. The Green Lotus Sky was the ace attack of the Green Lotus sword art. It worked perfectly with the Green Lotus Shen Qi, which was extremely mysterious. The immortal mentality contained in the sword intent seemed to have a nourishing effect on this ace attack, making the air even more stable, like a calm lake. Feeling the Green Lotus Shen Qi inside his body being consumed at an extremely fast speed, Yi Chen did not dare to waste any time. He flicked his sword tip, lifting up the edge of the lake in the air. The next second, hundreds of green lotuses floated up in the air, merging together and forming into a huge green lotus. There were light purple lotuses on top of the green lotuses, surrounded by beams of blue qi flow, looking like blades. Boom! The huge green lotus spun a couple of times before attacking toward Xikong Sheng. Pooh! The consumption of the magnetic power had greatly decreased Xikong Sheng's defense, and the huge green lotus formed by the sharp qi flow was even more horrifying than the kill heart sword qi. It had broken through his defense instantly, shattering his half-step Qin Yuan. As the remaining magnetic power leaked out, Xikong Sheng could no longer handle the power. He puked out a 3-meter-tall blood column, then was blown backward like a shooting star. Sheng Er. The elder's face was dark like water. He controlled his Huang Thunder Beast to catch Xikong Sheng and put him on the back of the beast. He then turned around slowly, his expression changing continuously as he stared at Yi Chen. As one of the core masters of the Floating Mountain Martial School, the elder's name was Jin Huang, and people called him Jin Huang. He was extremely famous in the Grey Mystery Nation, and all the warriors from the Grey Mystery Nation would be scared when they saw him. The head disciple of his martial school had been beaten. No matter how good his temper was, he would still be a bit angry, not to mention that he was not a good-tempered person himself. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen released his minor blood demon body separating great art. As the minor blood demon body separating great art was released, Yi Chen's spirit seemed to have dropped a lot. However, a stream of qi that was extremely hard to detect had been injected into his body through the air, making his condition much better. This is, the Dragon Fountain Qi. Of course, he knew what Xikong Sheng's intention was. It was nothing more than to decide the winner and take back a part of the Dragon Fountain Qi. Although this was not a hidden dragon rank competition, if he lost, he would still lose a part of the dragon fountain chi. Luckily, it would not be as exaggerated as the hidden dragon rank competition, since luck was something that was constantly changing. This time, if Xikongsheng beat him, he would lose a part of the dragon fountain chi without a doubt. The dragon fountain chi was equivalent to luck, but of course, luck was not necessarily the dragon fountain chi. Shoo! Cloud Dreamer, who had always been quiet, appeared right next to Yi Chen. He laughed at Jin Huang. This year's young generation is indeed different. You have really opened my eyes. I am the great master of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Cloud Dreamer. I wonder who you are. Jin Huang said coldly, you do not need to know my name. But, I have a question. What you have performed is the minor blood demon body separating great art. The last sentence was directed at Yi Chen. Cloud Dreamer's expression changed suddenly. The last thing he wanted to see had happened after all. He hurried to say, Yi Chen used to be a disciple of our Sky Cloud Martial School. Now, he has become a master. He had some strange encounters in the past, and had gotten some messy martial arts and secret martial arts. Shut up. Jin Huang interrupted Cloud Dreamer and yelled at Yi Chen, I am asking you, are you training the minor blood demon body separating great art? So what if I am? So what if I am not? Yi Chen knew that there was no way for this to end well. His opponent was obviously targeting him. Even if he did not perform the minor blood demon body separating great art, he could not guarantee that there would not be any other problems. Hee hee. Jin Huang sneered, how dare you? Do you know how many people of our floating mountain martial school have been killed by Master Blood Demon? How many elders had died in his hands? Under such circumstances, you still dare to train the infamous minor blood demon body separating great art? Are you not putting our floating mountain martial school in your eyes? What a big accusation. Yi Chen said, which martial art in this true spirit continent has not been stained with blood and life? Are all martial arts unusable? You still dare to talk back. You are courting death. Without giving Yi Chen any chance to speak, Jin Huang put his finger on his thumb and flicked out a beam of golden light. Don't go too far. Cloud Dreamer roared, burning his Jin Yuan all of a sudden. He blocked in front of Yi Chen and threw out a sword attack toward the finger light. At the same time, Thunder Freer also arrived. Nobody knew when he had already burned his Jin Yuan, but he had also thrown out a claw attack toward the golden finger light. As the target of the opponent, how could Yi Chen just stand by and watch? He did not care that performing the minor blood demon body separating great art again would bring a huge damage to his body. His chi and blood burned fiercely as he coughed out a chunk of blood and threw out a kill heart sword attack. Rumble. The three of them were in their strongest state, but Daoist Jin Huang's strength was not something they could resist even if they joined forces. Even a wisp of his finger light could easily shatter their defenses and send them flying hundreds of meters away, coughing up 3 feet of blood. Walking down from the back of the thunder beast, Jin Huang stood in the midair with a cold look in his eyes. You three want to fight against me? You are courting death. Right now, I will give you a chance, and a chance to live. Hand over the minor blood demon body separating great art and break your own arms and legs. Then, I will let this matter go. Otherwise, I will kill the whole Sky Cloud Martial School. As soon as he said that, everyone in the Sky Cloud Martial School turned pale. They believed that Jin Huang could do it. A late astral reaching realm warrior from a rank 6 martial school was extremely powerful. Even a normal late astral reaching realm warrior would not be able to survive against him, not to mention them. Some of the people who had just joined had already started to run. Compared to their lives, the honor of the martial school was too far away from them. It was not worth it at all. Even if I, Cloud Dreamer, die, I will make you suffer for 3 days. Breaking their own arms and legs would be the same as cutting off their martial path, which would be even more painful than death. Cloud Dreamer, Thunder Freer, and Yi Chen were all ready to fight to the death, especially Cloud Dreamer. The burning Jin Yuan outside of his body had become extremely unstable, showing signs of exploding. A horrifying qi spread out everywhere. Shoo! Yi Chen, who was bleeding from every orifice, blocked in front of Cloud Dreamer. He was the one who started all of this, so he should be the one risking his life. He had already died once, so what if he died again? Come out. Coughing out a piece of internal organ, Yi Chen crazily pushed his green lotus Jin Qi, trying to draw out the mysterious Jin Yuan from the Jin Qi spiral. It seemed to be affected by Yi Chen's crazy emotions, as the mysterious Jin Yuan that had been silent for a long time started to wriggle. The frequency was getting higher and higher, and the vibration was getting bigger and bigger. A wave of Jin Yuan spread out, along with a violent unstable element. It was because the mysterious Jin Yuan was not pure, as 10% of it was green lotus Jin Yuan. Since you want to die, then don't blame me. Jin Huang's eyes were filled with killing intent as he pointed out his finger again. Pooh! It was not Yi Chen who puked out blood, but Su Jing. Her body was slightly slim, and her white clothes were stained with blood. Both of her arms were hanging down, as if she had lost her bones. Chapter 303. Just like Yi Chen, Su Jing had chosen to go into closed-door training not long after she got back from the Hidden Dragon ancient city. Because the battle between Yi Chen and Xikong Sheng was way too loud, she decided to come out and see what was going on. When she arrived, the battle between Yi Chen and Xikong Sheng had already ended. Jin Huang's aggressiveness had alerted her secretly, so she rushed over to help Yi Chen. Jin Huang had trained a gold element martial art. Even a casual finger attack from him would have the ability to break through anything. It had easily pierced through Su Jing's defense, breaking the bones in her arms inch by inch. It had all happened too fast. The mysterious Jin Yuan inside Yi Chen's body had just been drawn out of his dantian. If he moved even a little bit, it would be all for naught. He could only watch Su Jing being blown hundreds of meters away. The good thing was that Zhu Mei had already caught up, blocking in front of Su Jing. Blood explosion spell, green lotus sky. With an angry growl, the bloody red Jin Qi outside of Yi Chen's body exploded violently. It was the most powerful ace attack of the minor blood demon body separating great art, and it also had the biggest backfire. Even Yuan Zhongwu did not dare to use it, because once he used it, there was a 90% chance that he would be crippled, and a 30% chance of dying completely. It was extremely dangerous. Correspondingly, after using the blood explosion spell, Yi Chen's battling power had increased again, reaching more than 80%. It was almost the same as burning his Jin Yuan to increase his battling power. Not only that, the mysterious Jin Yuan that had been poured into the meridians in his right arm had also been dyed red by the spell. In other words, the second he used the mysterious Jin Yuan, Yi Chen's basic power would be similar to an early astral reaching realm warrior. Combined with the 70% sword intent and the ace attack from the green lotus sword art, it would be possible for him to kill a mid-astral reaching realm warrior. As for a late astral reaching realm warrior, the result would be revealed soon. Shoo! The star scar sword in his hand was as heavy as a mountain. Yi Chen threw out a sword attack that looked slow but was actually fast. The boiling air calmed down at an unnatural speed, turning into a dead silence. Then, countless green lotuses with a hint of red appeared, covering the entire sky. Humph, you dare to show off your insignificant skills in front of me? Break! Daoist Jin Huang snorted coldly. He raised his palm horizontally and slapped the void. A golden brilliance condensed into a giant palm, tearing apart the stagnant air, tearing apart countless green lotuses, and opening up a pitch-black vacuum passage. The vacuum passage seemed to contain a great gravitational force, sucking in everything around it. Puff! Yi Chen's 7 orifices were bleeding, and his body reeked of blood. Right then, Yi Chen's body suddenly shook. His green lotus sword spell, which had been stuck at the peak of the 9th realm, had suddenly reached the 10th realm under the great pressure. At the same time, his cultivation had also made great progress. Not only had he reached the peak level late clasping Yuan realm, but he was also not far away from being able to purify his Jin Yuan. Yi Chen had finally understood that the more pressure there was, the more explosive power there would be. If he did not explode in silence, then he would die in silence. Green Lotus accumulation, cut. Without showing any excitement, Yi Chen's eyes were resolute, locking onto Daoist Jin Huang like a hawk. Right then, his mysterious Jin Yuan had already been poured into the Star Scar sword through the meridians in his arm. The Star Scar sword exploded with a bright light that could even dim the stars in the sky. Under the dazzling light, a fist-sized green lotus appeared on the tip of the sword. It was light purple in color, with strands of blood diamond-like chi flowing around its edge, easily cutting through the surreal space. Shoo! As Yi Chen's sword hacked down, the fist-sized green lotus shot out at a horrifying speed, leaving a perfectly straight black line in the surreal space. The black line did not disappear for a long time, extending for hundreds of meters, as if it had divided the whole space into two parts, one above and one below. It was extremely creepy. Not good. How can this kid have Jin Yuan? If it were only Jin Yuan, Daoist Jin Huang would not even spare a glance, as he could turn the opponent into ashes with a flick of his finger. However, Yi Chen had just used the blood explosion spell, combining his Jin Yuan with his qi and blood, which was equivalent to burning his Jin Yuan. His basic strength had increased drastically. Not only that, Yi Chen was also a sword artist who had comprehended 70% sword intent. With the two added together, even a mid-astral reaching expert would have to suffer a grievance if they were careless. Moreover, he did not put the people from the Sky Cloud Martial School in his eyes at all, and had only used 50 to 60% of his Jin Yuan, not to mention burning his Jin Yuan. The current him could not even compare to a mid-astral reaching expert with his protective Jin Yuan. If he were hit by this sword, even if he did not die, he would be crippled. The speed of the green lotus was too fast. Daoist Jin Huang did not have the time to thicken his protective Jin Yuan, so he could only raise his right middle finger and point out. Gold Bright Finger. Gold Bright Finger was Daoist Jin Huang's famous martial art. Even if he used 50 to 60% of his strength, its might was not something an ordinary astral reaching expert could compare with. Shoo! The golden light streaked across the sky, colliding with the unceasingly revolving green lotus. There was no sound, nor any sound or light effect. The two tightly stuck together, without any sound or presence, as if they were two magnets. Everyone was somewhat unable to adapt. It was as if they clearly knew that thunder was about to strike, and they could already see the flickering of thunder and lightning, and they had already made all the preparations. Yet, when the lightning struck down, there was not the slightest sound of thunder, which was rather unbearable. It might have been an instant, or it might have been a long time. With a loud bang, a dazzling radiance soared into the sky, tearing apart the black clouds in the sky, tearing apart the thunder and lightning, unceasingly spurting out firepower. At first glance, it looked like a fan-shaped light screen, the starting point of which was precisely the point where the golden light and green lotus collided. With a loud bang, Yi Chen and Daoist Jin Huang were both blown back. The difference was that Yi Chen was blown back while spurting out blood, and his body seemed to have lost a lot of weight, becoming as thin as a stick. On the other hand, Daoist Jin Huang's face was slightly pale, and he slid back several hundred meters in the sky, without any injuries. The gap between the two was too big. Even if Yi Chen had surpassed his limits and burst out with the most powerful attack of his life, a gap was still a gap. Compared to Daoist Jin Huang, who had hastily counterattacked, he was still not his opponent. However, being able to push Daoist Jin Huang back several hundred meters was enough to prove Yi Chen's strength. Sky-shattering strike. Sky Thunder Strike. Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer bit their tongues, trying their best to recover from their absent-minded state. Their Zhenyuan, which had been pushed to its peak, poured out without any regard for their lives, and performed their most powerful martial arts, attacking Daoist Jin Huang, who had just stabilized his body. Victory or defeat would be decided in this one move. Ha! No matter how many ants there are, they are still ants. This time, you will all die, and the Sky Cloud Martial School will be completely destroyed as well. Yi Chen's frontal attack had made Daoist Jin Huang's blood boil. He had to hold back his blood for a long time before he could swallow it back down. Seeing Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer seize this opportunity to attack him, Daoist Jin Huang was instantly enraged. He did not care about the fact that forcefully increasing his Zhenyuan would bring a huge burden to his body, and threw out two-finger attacks with 70% of his Zhenyuan. Pooh! Pooh! Although Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer's attacks were not as powerful as Yi Chen's attack, they should not be underestimated. However, this time, Daoist Jin Huang had used 70% of his Zhenyuan, which was not something that the finger attack from before could compare with. Without any suspense, the two attacks had been shattered. Cloud Dreamer laughed bitterly, "Brother Thunder, please take away all the people that you can, especially Yi Chen. Leave a route for our Sky Cloud Martial School, a lifeline. Do not let our last hope die. Otherwise, I, Cloud Dreamer, will not be able to face all the previous leaders of the Sky Cloud Martial School. I will not be satisfied even if I die." The last sentence was almost yelled out by Cloud Dreamer. Thunder Freer's expression changed. "Cloud Dreamer, what are you doing? Hurry up. There is no time. I will use my last drop of blood to stall him." Cloud Dreamer was already extremely unstable. His exploding Zhenyuan had been completely messed up, and he could no longer calm himself down. His whole body was like a container filled with gunpowder, ready to explode at any second. Thunder Freer shook his head and sighed. He was ready to die as he said to Cloud Dreamer, "There is no more chance. Look." Cloud Dreamer followed Thunder Freer's gaze and saw Yi Chen, who was covered in blood, flying back. His robe was stained with blood, and so was his hair. "Senior Cloud Dreamer, Senior Thunder Freer, I know what you are thinking, but I can't back out, and I can't run away. If I were to sacrifice the whole Sky Cloud Martial School for my life, then what would be the point of me staying alive? The scary heart demon will stop me from reaching the life and death realm for the rest of my life, and I will not live up to your expectations. I do not want to carry such a heavy burden. Since the day I, Yi Chen, picked up my sword, I have never thought about running away, and I have never thought about letting someone else die for me. This is all because of me, and I will be the one to end it. You don't need to try to persuade me, I have made up my mind." As he spoke, Yi Chen took out a huge amount of blood sunflowers and swallowed them. He then performed his blood explosion spell without caring about his own life. Right then, his mind had never been this resolute, and his will had never been this strong. The sword intent kept rising up into the sky, and it seemed to be endless. Such a horrifying sword intent had already surpassed his body's limit, and his skin started to crack. Peak 70% sword intent. No, it should be 80% sword intent. Jin Huang gasped as he screamed in his mind. This kid can't be left alive, or he will become a huge threat. Right now, he was already scared. If he could not kill Yi Chen today, he would have nightmares for the rest of his life. Woo! 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 A lot of Sky Cloud Martial School's female disciples started crying, while the male disciples' eyes became more and more determined. "Wu Ming, I want to go up and fight. What do you think?" Zhang Haoran, who was only at the peak of late condensing reality realm, took a step forward and flew into the sky. Wu Ming laughed out loud. "Zhang Haoran, don't look down on me. Do you think I, Wu Ming, am afraid of death?" Unknowingly, all of the Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples had gathered together. Those who could fly stood next to Cloud Dreamer and the rest, while those who couldn't stood on the ground. At this moment, the Sky Cloud Martial School was unprecedentedly united and powerful. Everyone's mind naturally gathered together, eventually turning into a fighting spirit that would rather die than surrender. Zhu Mei, let's go up. Being held in Zhu Mei's arms weakly, Su Jing said in a low voice. Zhu Mei had tears in her eyes as she slightly nodded. Lu Hanshan chuckled, but no one knew what he was laughing about. They only knew that his smile was bright and gentle as he flew into the sky together with Zhu Mei. Looking at the crowd of Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples, Jin Huang was in a bad mood. He had never seen a situation like this before. In his mind, the Sky Cloud Martial School should be in a desperate situation. Then, all of you, die. Jin Huang roared out. His Shen Yuan started to burn fiercely, and an extremely horrifying aura swept out, condensing into a hurricane that tore the ground apart and collapsed mountains. That golden fiery light looked like a golden sun. Golden sun splitting. An extremely condensed light ball condensed on his fingertip. Jin Huang believed that once this light ball exploded, no matter how many people there were, they would all die. Sigh. Right at this moment, a sigh was heard. It seemed to be right next to everyone's ears, but also seemed to be far away from the sky. It kept lingering in the air and vibrating. Right after that, the gray sky suddenly cleared up. In everyone's sight, a mountain-sized huge hand pressed down, covering the sun and the sky. The fingerprint on the palm was so clear that even the heaven and earth were shaken. Chapter 304. Retracting his finger, Taoist Jin Huang's eyes widened as he roared, "Impossible! How could Sky Cloud Martial School have this kind of background? Impossible! Who are you? Why are you meddling in this matter? My Floating Mountain Martial School has no enmity with you. Please don't do anything." Taoist Jin Huang couldn't sense the aura of the owner of the huge hand at all. Therefore, there were only two possibilities. First, the opponent had entered the Sea of Soul's realm, and his Shen Yuan had turned into an ocean, returning to the origin. Second, the opponent had entered the even more frightening life and death realm. Once one entered the life and death realm, the difference between heaven and earth would be completely different. Regardless of which possibility it was not something that Taoist Jin Huang could contend against. The former was still manageable, since at least the Floating Mountain School had Sea of Soul's realm warriors, and not just one or two of them. However, if it was the latter, then the entire Floating Mountain School would not even be able to withstand one finger of the opponent. Life and Death Realm warriors were called kings, and it was not without reason. They were the kings of the martial artists, and represented the world's will of the true spirit continent. Without Life and Death Realm warriors, no matter how powerful one was, it would be useless. The speed of the huge hand was not that fast, as if its owner was not serious. However, in Taoist Jin Huang's eyes, the sky was no longer the sky, and the earth was no longer the earth. The mountains behind Sky Cloud Martial School were all under the control of the huge hand. Seeing that the opponent had no intention of stopping, Taoist Jin Huang's heart was filled with boundless fear. Not caring about the Huang Thunder Beast and Sikong Sheng, he extended his body and flew away at an extreme speed. With a flicker, he appeared 7 to 8 li away, like a small sun that was constantly jumping. Humph! With a cold snort, the thumb and index finger of the sky-covering hand began to close together. When it was only 10 feet away, the fleeing Taoist Jin Huang seemed to have walked right into a trap. He was imprisoned within, unable to move or even struggle. "I am not willing. These people are only ants. I will kill them if I want to." Taoist Jin Huang mustered his remaining strength, burning his Shen Yuan fiercely, trying to escape. Everyone from the Sky Cloud Martial School was stupefied. The previously insufferably arrogant Taoist Jin Huang was currently being clamped by two sky-reaching fingers. His face was full of fright and anger, as if he was a headless fly, which brought a huge contrast to their vision. They all thought, who is the owner of this sky-covering hand? Even a late astral-reaching expert has been casually pinched by him. This level of strength is already not something that can be imagined. Don't worry, I won't kill you with my own hands. You're not worth my life. Now, get the hell out of the Sky Cloud Martial School, get the hell out of the Windy Nation. If you dare to take another step forward in this life, you will die for sure. Also, go back and tell the leader of the Floating Mountain sect that this is just a small warning. If he dares to offend you again, the Floating Mountain sect will be destroyed, and the 10,000 years of foundation of the Azure Emperor and the Stone Emperor will be destroyed. Do you hear me? Only Taoist Jin Huang could hear the voice of the owner of that sky-covering hand. However, it was not a human voice, but the sound of the air vibrating. It was similar to Zhenqi sound transmission, but 10 times more advanced than Zhenqi sound transmission. Astral-reaching realm warriors would never be able to do it. You won't kill me. Taoist Jin Huang stopped struggling. He knew that no matter how hard he struggled, it would be useless. If the opponent wanted to kill him, it would only take a single thought. His evil eyes landed on Yi Chen's body. Taoist Jin Huang sneered inwardly, so it is not because of your backer. If you were, you would not let me go, because if you let me go, once Yi Chen leaves the Windy Nation, I would be able to hunt him down. Anyway, the owner of that sky-covering hand did not say that he was not allowed to kill Yi Chen, he only said that he was not allowed to enter the Windy Nation. It seems like the gods want you dead. Within 5 years, you will never have the power to fight against me. And if you want to continue growing, you will have to leave the Windy Nation. This is an endless cycle, there is only death. How about I let you go for now? Although Taoist Jin Huang was afraid of Yi Chen's potential, he did not think that Yi Chen would be able to surpass him within 5 years. There would be plenty of chances to kill him, there was no need to risk his own life. Senior, I promise that I will never step into the Windy Nation or the Sky Cloud Martial School for the rest of my life. Taoist Jin Huang said with a loud voice. The huge hand made of Yuan Qi loosened, and the air around Taoist Jin Huang's ears vibrated again, piss off. I might change my mind at any time. Hearing him, Taoist Jin Huang's expression changed. He seemed to be afraid that the owner of the huge hand would change his mind and kill him for good. He hurriedly jumped onto the back of the thunder beast and commanded it to fly away. Within a blink of an eye, they disappeared into the clouds. You didn't kill him. It would be a lie if Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer said that they were not disappointed. Of course, they did not dare to complain about the owner of the huge hand. Without him, the Sky Cloud Martial School would have been completely destroyed. There would not have been a second possibility. A late astral reaching realm warrior from a rank 6 martial school would already be considered as a top warrior in the whole South Rudra region. Under the Sea of Souls realm, he would be above hundreds of thousands of people. Not good. I can't control my Jin Yuan anymore. Although he had relaxed a bit, Cloud Dreamer still could not control his own Jin Yuan. Once his Jin Yuan exploded, there would be nothing left of him, and everything within 10 miles would be destroyed. This was a secret art that he had obtained by chance. Once he used it, there would be no way to change it. Thunder Freer noticed the aura that was about to explode from Cloud Dreamer's body, so he was shocked. Cloud Dreamer had told him about this secret art. This time, he had to use it during the battle with Taoist Jin Huang. However, Taoist Jin Huang had already left, so his death would be meaningless. Shoo! Something strange happened. One of the fingers of the huge hand reached out and lightly touched on Cloud Dreamer's protective Jin Yuan. The wind started to blow, and the clouds disappeared. The next second, Cloud Dreamer's aura disappeared, and the Jade Destruction secret art returned to its original state. The explosive aura disappeared completely. Thank you, Senior. Cloud Dreamer cupped his fists and bowed toward the huge hand. The air vibrated. No need to thank me. Actually, I wanted to save Yi Chen. But, Yi Chen's relationship with the Sky Cloud Martial School was too deep. This whole thing was caused by him. Senior, how can I not thank you? Cloud Dreamer obviously could not just say no, since the other had not only saved him, but the entire Sky Cloud Martial School. Even if the other asked him to kill himself right now, he would do it. The Sky Cloud Martial School was in his hands, and this kind of feeling was not something normal people could understand. The owner of the huge hand did not say anything, and his voice moved to Yi Chen's ears. Are you wondering why I didn't kill Daoist Jin Huang? The blood explosion art disappeared automatically. Yi Chen's body was covered in blood as he said weakly, Senior, you should have your own plan. Yi Chen can guess a little bit. Oh. Tell me. Senior, you want me to take revenge myself and get rid of my inner demon. The air vibrated a bit unsteadily. Hee, you are right. I did have this intention. The path of a warrior is to overcome all obstacles, and no impurities can be tolerated. Today's incident had a great impact on you. If you could not kill Daoist Jin Huang yourself, it would be a huge hindrance to your cultivation. Plus, you are a sword artist who had comprehended the sword intent, so you could not back down. Killing Daoist Jin Huang was like helping you choose to back down. This is not what I want to see, nor is it what you want to see. Therefore, you can take Daoist Jin Huang's life. As for whether you can kill him or not, it will depend on your own ability. I will not help you for the same thing twice. Yi Chen said, Thank you Senior for your help. I will kill Daoist Jin Huang with my own hands, and no one can stop me. As for his death, it means that I am not qualified to step into a higher realm. Very good. I like your calmness. I hope you can keep it up. Do not be blinded by hatred. The path of a warrior is not just about hatred. Senior, you are. Don't ask, and don't think about it. I will tell you when I need to. I have my reasons for not telling you, and it is also the reason why I did not show up. Yi Chen is too reckless. You are badly wounded. The minor blood demon body separating great art is not a secret skill for warriors. It is an incomplete secret skill created by the blood demon master based on the blood demon doppelganger. Without the doppelganger, every time you use it, you will lose your chi and blood. Normal medicines will not be able to help you recover completely. You will have to deal with this yourself. I will not give you any material help. Yi Chen knows. The minor blood demon body separating great art was a huge burden on the body. Although the chi and blood that was consumed could be replenished by the blood sunflower, the blood sunflower was not omnipotent. It could be used once or twice, but if it was used too many times, then it would have to be nurtured for a while. Otherwise, there would be a horrifying side effect. This time, in order to fight against Daoist Jin Huang, Yi Chen had even performed the ultimate skill of the minor blood demon body separating great art, the blood explosion great art. It was almost as powerful as the major blood demon body separating great art, but the side effect was extremely huge. If it were not for the fact that Yi Chen's body was extremely powerful, and that he had trained the pure Jade body boosting spell to the 5th level, the King Kong Jade body boosting spell, he would have been crippled even if he did not die. As for the help from the owner of the sky-covering palm, Yi Chen had never thought about it. Everyone's path of being a martial artist was right under their feet, and others would not be able to help them. If they helped him, then they might end up harming him instead. If one did not understand the pain, then how could one understand the sweetness after the pain? Of course, Yi Chen was not worried about the side effects, since he still had a 3,000 years old blood sunflower in his storage ring, which was 10 times more powerful than the 1,000 years old one. As long as his chi and blood did not run out, it would not be a big problem to get rid of the side effects. However, Su Jing's injury was giving him a headache. The broken bones in her arm and the broken bones in her arm were two completely different things. Without great treasures, it would be very hard to heal. He could imagine the pain of having a whole bone broken into countless pieces. The owner of the sky-covering palm seemed to have guessed Yi Chen's thoughts. I will not help that girl with the broken bones in her arm either. She is very talented, and has a great chance to achieve great things in the future. This is not a bad thing for her. In fact, have you realized that the whole Sky Cloud Martial School has changed because of this? This is the rise of the Sky Cloud Martial School. It is the beginning of the Sky Cloud Martial School's rise. Yi Chen nodded. During that bloody battle, he was very touched by what people from the Sky Cloud Martial School had done. They were obviously very weak, and could not help at all, but they still stood out without any hesitation, willing to live and die with the Sky Cloud Martial School. This kind of fearlessness was not something that a powerful martial school could achieve. He believed that in the future, the Sky Cloud Martial School would definitely grow and become a super martial school in the South Rudra region. Since this is done, I will not stay any longer. Remember, the path of a martial artist is like sailing against the current. Only by keeping your heart will you be able to move forward. The sky-covering palm disappeared, and the voice disappeared slowly. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen turned around to look at the crowd. In his sight, everyone was looking at him, and he was also looking at them. The eye contact did not require words. This is my second home. As the thought flashed through his mind, Yi Chen raised his head and fell down from the sky. It was a miracle for him to be able to last until now. But now, the miracle was over. Chapter 305. Shocking Cloud Peak. Inside a spacious room, Yi Chen, who was wrapped in bandages, crawled out of bed. He was already 18 years old, but he was no longer childish. His slightly skinny body was not weak at all. The tightly wrapped bandages showed his well-defined muscles, which were full of explosive power. It was as if his body was made of steel. He raised his arm, but it was still weak. This was a sign of excessive loss of qi and blood, and a great loss of vitality. Yi Chen shook his head and thought to himself, the blood explosion spell is too powerful. It made me unconscious for 7 days and 7 nights. Fortunately, my body was strong enough, so I did not lose my qi and blood, and my meridians were not destroyed. Otherwise, it would not be easy to recover. Yi Chen had not used the 3,000-year-old blood sunflower yet, so he was not sure how effective it was. He planned to use it in a day or two when he was full of energy. Pushing open the door, Yi Chen came to the yard. The courtyard was no different from an ordinary family's courtyard. It wasn't too big, and it wasn't extravagant either. Opposite it was a flower bed with dozens of beautiful flowers, including a few young blood sunflowers. Next to the flower bed was a row of sunflowers. They were taller than the courtyard wall, and they were in full bloom facing the blazing sun. Bang bang. After standing in the yard for a while, there was a knock on the door. Looking away, Yi Chen said, "Come in." Creak. The yard door, which was not locked, opened. Zhang Haoran and Wu Zongming walked in. "Yi Chen, are you all right?" It was Wu Zongming's first time coming to the shocking Cloud Peak. He looked around and found that other than the Great Elders' Hall, the other buildings were very ordinary. They could not even be considered as the mansion of an ordinary landlord. Yi Chen smiled and said, "It's you too." "I'm all right." Wu Zongming laughed, "It's good that you're all right. I thought there would be some side effects." That day, Yi Chen looked too scary. He was covered in blood, and his muscles were cracked. The loss of qi and blood made Wu Zongming wonder if Yi Chen had that much qi and blood. At this moment, Zhang Haoran said, "I'm here to apologize." "Apologize for what?" Yi Chen was surprised. Wu Zongming interrupted, "He's a stubborn man. We had a grudge in the past and he always wanted to apologize. In my opinion, apologizing between men is too mushy. Besides, it's been so long. Why would we care about each other's frivolity when we were young? 14 or 15 years old was the most impulsive age. At that age, they were very competitive and aggressive. It was inevitable that there would be conflicts and friction. If they were not careful, they would become enemies. Fortunately, there was not much conflict between the three of them. They just disagreed with each other. Yi Chen smiled. Wu Zhongming is right. Everyone is frivolous. Zhang Haoren said seriously, it's different this time. It's an official apology. Alright, I accept your apology. When dealing with a stubborn person, Yi Chen could not be in a deadlock with him, so he accepted the other party's apology. The three of them drank some tea and chatted casually. After about an hour, the two of them bid farewell. As soon as Zhang Haoren and Wu Zhongming left, Luo Hanshan, Zhu Mei and Su Jing arrived. Yi Chen, are you alright? Luo Hanshan asked. Except for a bit of weakness, I'm fine. Yi Chen's wounds were actually quite serious. But of course, with the help of the 3,000 years old blood sunflower, it was indeed not a big deal. He looked at Su Jing and saw that her arms were wrapped in bandages, hanging weakly on her waist. Yi Chen said gently, does it hurt? Su Jing's face blushed slightly, not at all. Yi Chen didn't say anything to express his gratitude. He knew that it would be too polite, and she would not want to hear it either. True gratitude did not need to be expressed, as long as it was in his heart, it was enough. Taking out 10 800 years old blood sunflowers and 2,000 years old blood sunflowers from his storage ring, Yi Chen said, you are cultivating a body-strengthening art, which requires enough qi and blood. These blood sunflowers are very beneficial to your qi and blood, so don't say no. After saying that, he grabbed Su Jing's slim hand and put the blood sunflowers into her storage ring. Su Jing lowered her head and bit her lower lip. Seeing this, a smile appeared on Zhu Mei's face. It was a smile that contained a trace of envy. Not good. Holding Su Jing's soft and boneless hand, Yi Chen wanted to check her injury. Her arm was almost boneless, and it was only connected by her qi and blood, so it was hard to describe how soft and boneless it was. If an ordinary martial artist were to suffer such a serious injury, they would basically be ruined for the rest of their lives. Fortunately, Su Jing had been cultivating a body-strengthening art, which gave her a powerful qi and blood. Therefore, the broken bones were healing at an almost imperceptible speed. However, if the bones were to heal on their own, it would take at least 3 to 5 years for them to fully recover. Moreover, even if they were fully healed, they would not be able to do any strenuous exercises, not to mention training martial arts. Frowning, Yi Chen was thinking about going out to look for some natural treasures that could heal bones. Although these natural treasures were even rarer than the 3,000 years old blood sunflowers, they were still available. But of course, it was not the right time yet. He was still too weak, and he had a powerful enemy like Jin Huang. Without being fully prepared, he would not be able to leave the Windy Nation for the time being. Luo Hanshan winked at Yi Chen and said, Zhu Mei and I still have something to do, you guys go ahead, I'll come to see you when I have time. After saying that, he left the yard with Zhu Mei. Yi Chen let out a bitter smile. Su Jing, who was sitting in front of him, had her head almost touching her chest. He had to find something to talk about, otherwise it would be very awkward. Do you still remember that time when I came back from the Northwest auction house, I borrowed your hand to train my body-strengthening art? After thinking for a while, Yi Chen started talking about the past. Yeah. Su Jing listened quietly. The sky was getting dark. Yi Chen walked Su Jing to the mountaintop where Yi Chen lived. The night passed without any words. The next afternoon, the room was filled with a bright blood-golden aura. This aura was extremely strong, with just a single sniff, Yi Chen would feel warm and refreshed. In Yi Chen's sight, there was a water tank-sized lump of mud on the floor of the room. The mud was completely covered by the blood-golden color and was slightly translucent. Through the translucent mud, Yi Chen could see a palm-sized blood sunflower growing in it. The blood sunflower had a rich blood golden color, it looked like gold or jade, it was shining brightly. It's time for me to use you. Using his Jinqi like a blade, Yi Chen cut open the mud and took out the 3,000 years old blood sunflower. Tearing off a small petal, Yi Chen took a deep breath and swallowed it. He then sat cross-legged on the bed and started to refine the medicinal energy. 3 days passed, and a blood-golden aura appeared on Yi Chen's body. Strands of it were like ribbons. This was the sign of the excess medicinal energy leaking out. As expected of a 3,000 years old blood sunflower. I still underestimated its medicinal energy. Just a small petal was able to completely replenish my qi and blood, and even improve it to the next level. What a pity that some of the medicinal energy leaked out and was wasted. Opening his eyes, Yi Chen had a regretful expression on his face. If it were Su Jing, then this would not have happened. It seemed like he would have to find a chance to send some over. After 7 months of closed-door training, Su Jing's strength had already crossed the 100,000 pounds threshold, leaving Yi Chen far behind. Her qi and blood were so powerful that even astral-reaching realm warriors would not be able to compete with her. If it were not for the minor blood demon body separating great art, he would have given her all of it. However, although my qi and blood have been replenished, the side effects are not completely gone. The blood explosion great art is not just a little bit harmful to martial artists. Yi Chen was not in a hurry. Sometimes, he would have to bear the consequences. It was something that could not be avoided. A lot of thoughts flashed through his mind as Yi Chen started to think about his own power. In terms of cultivation, he had reached the peak level of late clasping Yuan realm, and was not far away from purifying Zhen Yuan. It was a huge improvement, as his basic power would not be at a disadvantage for warriors below the astral reaching realm. In terms of martial arts, his Green Lotus Sword spell had already reached the 10th level, and he had condensed 6 beams of Green Lotus Sword Qi in his body. Each beam was extremely powerful, and combined with his sword intent, he would be able to beat Yan Qihua and the others. Besides his cultivation in martial arts, the biggest breakthrough was his sword intent. Once the sword intent reached the late stage, each breakthrough would be extremely rare. As his sword intent reached the 80%, Yi Chen's overall power had increased drastically again. He already had the battling power to kill a peak-level early astral-reaching realm warrior, and he would be able to fight against a normal mid-astral-reaching realm warrior. Before, with his mysterious Zhen Yuan and 70% sword intent, Yi Chen might be able to tear apart the defense of a mid-astral-reaching realm warrior, but his opponent was not a block of wood that would let him attack. Therefore, if he encountered a mid-astral-reaching realm warrior, he would not have any chance of winning. Instead, the possibility of him dying would be very high. Although right now, he might not be able to win against a mid-astral-reaching realm warrior, he would be able to fight against him for a while. My cultivation will not improve in a short period of time. My 80% sword intent has not stabilized yet. Right now, I will close up and train my Green Lotus Sword spell. Yi Chen was very clear that the higher the cultivation realm, the earlier one could step into the Zhen Yuan refining stage, and the faster the refining process would be. Right now, what he lacked was nothing else but cultivation base. If his cultivation base had been at early astral reaching realm during the bloody battle with Daoist Jin Huang, he would have been able to fight for a long time, and Su Jing wouldn't have broken the bones in her arms, temporarily crippling her. Cultivation is the way to go. Nothing else can be relied on. Sighing, Yi Chen decided to continue his closed-up training. He would train his Green Lotus Sword spell to a higher realm first. Once he had enough basic power, he would think about other things. Before his closed-up training, Yi Chen went to the Misty Peak to talk to Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer. The two were his seniors, and had helped him a lot. In this bloody battle, it was also thanks to their help. Cloud Dreamer had almost exploded himself, so it would not be right if he did not greet them. Seeing Yi Chen recover so fast, Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer were very happy. They thought that it would take at least a year and a half for Yi Chen to recover. Hearing that Yi Chen was going to continue his closed-up training, the two reminded him not to be too impatient because of the hatred in front of him. He needed to increase his power. Yi Chen told them not to worry. He had already planned for this closed-up training. In fact, if Jin Huang and Xikong Sheng had not come to the Sky Cloud Martial School, Yi Chen was planning to train for a year before coming out. Saying goodbye to the two, Yi Chen went to notify Su Jing and the rest before returning to the shocking Cloud Mountain and entering the training room inside the mountain. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.